and a sort of War and Peace. So
I like
it's definitely got some spice.
I like the War and Peace main and the War and Peace board.
Yep.
I know when War and Peace was first printed, I tried it in the main deck and I liked it, but of mono red aggressive decks, and I liked it, but I wasn't in love with it. So having one doesn't really get in the way of itself too much. Having the second in the sideboard for the appropriate matchups seems great. His opponent is, once again, one of the many people who have copied the list that Charles Gindy was playing. His spice is one main deck Divine Offering, which actually I think Charles Gindy might have had in his main deck. I'll have to recheck that.
I'm pretty sure that that Noah's a grinder. I've seen this name around a fair bit.
I've seen him as well. I'm actually really excited to see somebody who is currently 5-0 with mono red playing it, because I always like watching red players play. Usually I yell at the screen and kind of am Monday morning quarterbacking it, but you know.
Yeah, Mutagenic Growth was a card when I saw it previewed. I thought it had some potential in a deck like mono red. Certainly the interaction with Spice Shell is quite good, and it's not too hard to cash in for shock at some point in the game. And you can do some pretty tricky stuff with it. So,
yeah, I know that we had Mutagenic Growth in one of our early red lists for Worlds Prep, and we did end up cutting it from 3 to 2 to 1 to 0 by the end of the prep.
Yeah. So Stormkirk Noble on the play is answered by Delver.
Turn 2 for Daniel Choi. So many ways he could potentially kill this if there is one in his hand.
It looks like we got a foil brew too. So we got an Art Trail, one and a Deuce.
In for a total of 3 damage, 2 from the burn, 1 from the man. Now, a Noble with a token on it is a real problem for blue-white. They basically have to get rid of it immediately or hope to draw a snag and then Runecaster snag.
Right, or overpower it somehow.
Invisible Stalker, a human.
And only a 1/1 to boot.
Very hard to... This is one of the cards, Stormkirk Noble, one of the cards that made me very unhappy to see red. And now we have Berserker.
Yeah. Stormkirk Noble attacking, actually connecting twice is like some sort of fantasy land I'm watching right now.
Well, honestly, this is the matchup where you can do it.
Yeah.
These various Delver decks,
right?
That if they're not playing like a full set of gut shots, it's very, very easy for that to connect.
Yep.
And then even if you bounce it back, it's just going to restart the process.
So we got a snag.
He snags the 2-drop, double snag.
Which is this turn is insane if Daniel doesn't have a third land. Those Survivor snags are pretty close to terminates if his mana's tight.
We see a shrine, no mana. Now what Noah wants to drop here is a sword or a pike.
Yep.
Take 1. Afterwards, nothing. Go. We're gonna see some. Hopefully, for Noah's perspective, Mana Leak would be good here.
He just drew a Mutagenic Growth.
We're gonna see a Noble. Does that work? Oh no, Grim Lavamancer. Tick it up. It works. And a Noble. Tick it up, and it works. End of the turn.
Gonna make a dude off the Moorland Haunt.
Here is a 1/1 Spirit. Spirits are not humans.
Gonna hard cast a Gataxian Probe. A hand of Heaters. Let's see, the foils make it a little blurry, but it looks like it's Berserker, Mutagenic Growth, Chandra's Phoenix, Art Trail, and another Berserker. So a hand that's perfectly functional with the two lands, but certainly a third land would help a lot.
As I was saying before, this is basically Charles Gindy's list on the left, except for with the spice of a single Divine Offering in the main deck.
Which would be a nice draw right about now.
Yeah. In comes Invisible Stalker, the Invisible Man, Kevin Bacon. In for 1.
Is it the land? No,
not a land.
Actually, probably the worst draw on the deck. It's another Phoenix.
Is that? Trying to figure out his path here. Arc Trail 1 and 2. It works. He could march on in there, but Midnight Haunting would be a total devastation. There are no creatures in Noah Koessel's, but Midnight Haunting, what a monster if he's got it. Snapcaster won't do it, it's a human. Takes 1, achieves the die. He can go Snapcaster, end of the turn, Vapor Snag. That is indeed the play he makes. Bouncing Grim Lavamancer. Noah's Kingdom for an equipment. In for 3. Daniel says, yep. Lays a Delver. 3 mana, open.
Another Phoenix he just drew.
Oh, 2 mana. He's running 21 mana. I actually like a little bit more mana in red right now. He's running low on his curve, so maybe 21 is fine. And by low, I mean he has only 2 4s and then 4 3s total. My director is telling me that I shouldn't make Kevin Bacon references with regards to the Invisible Man because that's the Hollow Man. I say tomato, tomato.
Snapcaster for another Vapor Snag. When the blue-white deck is just getting ahead with this, tempo game it's become so well known for. We'll delve.
That's a good card. He doesn't want to show it. Everybody in. That shrine is threatening a lot of pain down below. A land would be so good for Daniel Choi. Up goes the shrine. What is that at? 8?
8. So it's theoretically lethal.
I think he has it. So attack before. See if he's got anything. Attack, does it work? There we go. Attack before you show it. And land dead.
Yep. Finally drew his 3rd land in the shrine. As it's so well known for, is able to finish the job.
This is one of the things I found when I was playing Blue Delver. And Blue-White Delver has some advantages. It can make spirits. Spirits are very good against Stormkirk Noble. Not good in the sense of anything other than chump blocking if it's big, but also it can actually kill it if it's small. But the thing is that you have no particular answer to a shrine, and the initial rush they're ahead of you on. So if they get the initial rush on, if you don't kill them quickly, that shrine will just finish you, and that's kind of what we saw here. Sideboard action.
So we have another Divine Offering, which I'm not sure if Noah actually wants or not. It's a little sketchy to have a bunch of artifact destruction. The shrine's a big threat, but there's only the 4 shrines.
Yeah, I like 1 Divine Offering because that is just fine. But 2, you could just clog on it, and that would be unfun.
Like, I'm pretty sure Oblivion Ring kind of does the same thing that you want to do without the risk of it being dead.
Yeah, that's fair. So you can actually run that instead of Divine Offering.
Right. There's an argument for bringing in another Gut Shot. Probably the Sword of War and piece he would want.
He's got Celestial Purge.
Celestial Purge.
I like that. 2 timely reinforcements.
Yeah,
that's
these
huge.
all seem like pretty safe cards to bring in. On the other side of the fence here, what would... I mean, we have some Ancient Grudges, which, like, I guess you can presume there's equipment, but maybe not. He has some Slag Storms. I know that I was a fan of Slag Storm for a little bit in terms of fighting Invisible Stalker and Geist Sustaining Draft. I'm assuming that's what it's in here for, so I imagine that's going to come in as well.
I actually really like the Sword of War and Peace in his sideboard and the Slag Storm. Partly that the Sword of War and Peace protects yourself from Slag Storm, but also the life gain portion of Sword of War and Peace is real.
Yes.
Like, even if they've only got, like, say, 3 cards in their hand and you got, like, say, 4, let's say even 3 and 3, like, a 6-point life swing can be the entire game. Like, that can just be enough.
And between Chandra's Phoenix and Shrine, the red deck actually can play a pretty reasonable inevitability game. So the life cushion there is actually a big deal. That said, it is a little slow, and it's not actually, since the pro-red, pro-white features aren't really relevant in the matchup, I'd be surprised if he brought in the second one, but I could certainly see keeping in the first one.
If it was me, I would bring it in a heartbeat, actually. Just because, like, what can happen in this matchup? If you draw it, it's fine. And if you draw it and you're in a race, it's good.
Yeah. Another thing about Daniel's deck is he does have main deck Hero of Oxenford, so he has a little bit more game against timely reinforcements than a lot of the other red decks do.
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't run Hero in a while, but part of the reason I haven't run Hero in a while is that since the metagame has developed, like, it's been so long since I've played Red, I haven't had to fight that fight.
Yeah.
I think that's the fight you're fighting now. Fight, fight, fight. I actually just changed my sideboard for my Delver deck this morning. Actually, pardon me, yesterday morning. And I took out my dedicated anti-red cards and put in mental missteps in my sideboard so I could be better at fighting other Delver decks.
Sure.
And if I were sitting in Noah's shoes, I would be sad about that decision. Noah still has some dedicated anti-red cards here, or at least quasi-dedicated. Celestial Purge is primarily a nod to red, even if it can knock off a Grave Titan or an Inferno Titan or a Liliana. Yeah. It's mostly for a deck like Daniel Choi's.
I feel like it's likely that Daniel took out mutagenic growth, since it's not really fighting over everything. The fact that he got Gitaxian Probes with it in his hand probably means that it loses a lot of its surprise value. And the Vapor Snags and Gut Shots and Unsummons of the world can make it pretty unwieldy to try to cash in for value. So
I think mutagenic growth might be his only card that's not good in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this deck seems, it's all aces.
Island, Noah. Mountain, Grim Lavamancer. And he does the end of turn Gut Shot for free. Second island. Two mana. Shrine gets leaked. Not sure how I feel about leaks after sideboarding.
All right, so now we see why Noah took so long deciding on his opening hand. He is without white mana.
Sword of War and Peace, very powerful if he can put it on something.
And it matched by his own sword.
Sword of War and Peace does answer Sword of War and Peace. And no follow-up from Noah. Noah just says go. Daniel now going to be able to cast a Chandra's Phoenix if he wants, or something better even, perhaps. 4 mana. So you aren't a foil person. You are an old person. Is that correct?
Correct. Figuratively and literally, yes.
There's a noble. Worth noting, Spike Shot Elder can pick up a sword to great effect.
Not equipping there is a little surprised.
End of the turn.
Oh,
Ancient Grudge.
Grudge on the sword.
That's pretty good.
I think I would have rather equipped, because there's no rush to get that.
And there's a Gut Shot, 2 damage from Noah.
I guess the threat of Snapcaster Mage is an argument.
5 mana go. Daniel says, incinerate your face. Seems premature for that.
Yeah, we're a little...
Grim Lavamancer. And now equip it right away, just in case. Any Snapcaster? Any Gut Shot? No. Vapor Snag, the only way to get that Grim Lavamancer off the table. Another Sword of War and Peace from Noah Koessel. Attack for 3 and then the hand. I think there's 3 cards in Noah's hand.
I think one of them's a snag. Yep.
Vapor Snag.
Sword is another angle to give you a little bit more game against Timely too, with your ground pounders. You can do some bootleg Hero of Oxid Ridge duty.
This is one of the problems I had with all of the Delver decks that I've seen versus Red, is you're forced into a position where you have to have snags in order to be in the fight, but then if you've got the snags, the game sadly lasts, and they have the inevitability.
Yeah.
In essence, the Red deck gets to be the control and the beatdown, which is a rough position to be in. Delver on the table with a Sword of War and Peace. This is actually much more difficult for Daniel Choi. Very few ways for him to be able to handle that. He needs a green source to Ancient Grudge, or he has to have another Ancient Grudge in hand.
Number 1. If you do not show up in the next minute, we will replace your spot.
He could have hedged against this situation by simply passing with the Lavamancer instead of equipping. That would have allowed him. I believe he has an Incinerate in his hand.
I think I see Slagstorm, Incinerate, and something.
So he could have stopped a creature from coming in and getting equipped, and then the following turn been able to equip Sword and still held up Incinerate again.
Yeah.
Now he's, unless he draws a Rootbound Crag or another Ancient Grudge, he's actually in some degree of of trouble here. Even with Noah still missing white mana.
Yeah, and one of the things that Daniel can't do, Daniel can't attack in with his Sword of War and Peace creature, because they'll just get blocked and killed. And no reveal from Delver. It might have been an instant or sorcery, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't see.
It was too quick. Noah says go.
Now he's got a decision if he's just going to send the Lavamancer at the head or not. And then, to me, this is basically an issue of like what you expect your tax your mana to be over the next couple of turns.
Incinerate. That's 5 damage in the turn, making Noah at 8. Untap. I'm not sure what he's trying to communicate there.
Yeah.
Oh,
he just threw a Crag. That's a huge draw.
Oh, boy. Ouch.
That is a big draw.
Does he remember the grudge?
Seems likely.
I hope so.
He seemed pretty excited when he peeled that one back, so.
I see him going for it.
Yep.
Grudge you. Timely in Noah's hand. A lot of white in Noah's hand. This might actually kill him straight off. Unless there's a Snapcaster or a Vapor Snag.
It seems like if you had access to those cards, you may want to consider doing it before Daniel gets to untap, because there's no reason to take another shot from the Lavamancer there, but maybe not.
Well, I think part of it is that when you use them, you have to be finishing off your opponent. You have to be actually getting to the point where you're killing them, because they're going to recover. There's a chump block. Is that a white source? Bomb. Got anything else? Delver. I'd say end of the turn, shoot this Delver. Get it out of the way. Let your Grim Lavamancer connect.
Yeah, it's just an issue of whether or not you're concerned about Vapor Snag. There's an argument for just going to the head, and but I think it's better to kill and just attack, because if the last card in his hand is Vapor Snag, it's very likely you're winning the game anyway, or one of the last 2 cards, because Vapor Snag is just not really getting him anywhere.
And Slagstorm for the kill.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. So
a quick 2-0.
Noah keeps a speculative hand in the second game and isn't able to draw white mana for the entire game, and that is that.
One of the things, if the metagame continues to start moving towards Delver decks,